Stop operating from fear. You need to understand that the goal, the achievement, the accomplishment that you so desperately seek, the outcome that you want to have, the experience you want to foster, is behind the risk you don't want to take. It's behind the work you don't want to put in. And the only blockage that's holding you back is fear. What if I don't make it? What if this happens? What if, like, that's such a bitch way of thinking. It's like you thought about every way it won't work out for you. You didn't actually think about every way it could work out for you. And that's the difference between a positive and a negative person. Because we have delusional people that believe they're positive and they'll smile in your face and they're so happy. But in reality, their thinking modality is deconstructing and fear-based and not really constructing anything, because when you deduct and analyze their thinking patterns is resonating with things that deduct and take away and negate, neglect, and subtract instead of add and multiply. So when we look at a positive person, it's not necessarily how that person makes you feel, because you are the operator, you are the controller, you are the management team for your emotions. So if someone makes you feel a certain type of way and you can't manage your emotions because of it, they're not the negative person, you are. There's no external problems, only a reflection of problems within you. So when we look at the mind and then we look at a positive person versus a negative person, no matter how good they make you feel, a negative person is always one to deduct and subtract. So everyone wants to pretend like they're the positive person. Everyone wants to act like they're a positive person. But in reality, if your mindset, if your mind, like your literal mind, you're thinking habitual sequences, the patterns that you resonate with to recognize yourself in existence, if your patterns are constantly resonating with deducting and subtracting by default, then you're a negative person no matter how many times you feel happy, how many times you smile, how many times you feel like you made someone, or you feel like you did something good. Like, you can help someone clean up a mess. That doesn't make you a good person. What makes you a good person is your life. Look at your life. Do you have a good life? Do you have a bad life? Do you have a mediocre life? Or do you have an actual good life? Your life is you. Like, your life is literally a reflection of yourself. And there's people who never actually awoke to the reflection of themselves. They never actually looked at their reality and had to deduct and analyze and think, okay, this is me, this is what I'm dealing with, this is who I'm not, so I'm going to be what I'm supposed to become, because that's who I am. And through time, through the process of individuation, through the process of divine grandeur unfoldment, you will eventually unfold to everything you ever need. And through the process of unfoldment, you become hyper analytical, super rational, hyper competent. You become superb in thinking, your thinking patterns, your self-recognition. You can recognize yourself, your cognition for deducting to your cognitive thinking. Everything amplifies on the journey. It's like, you're thinking a man is what he thinketh. I've said this a million times. A man is what he thinketh. I'm going to say this a million times more. If you aren't thinking positively, like, you have to understand that there's reality and then there's your reality. And when I say reality, I mean, like, first of all, you have to understand there's only perceptions of reality. But there's the reality that you're perceiving right now in the current moment. And then there's the perspective or perception of the reality that you're actively creating. So if you're launched and locked into the current reality that you are in when you don't want to be in that reality, you're going to drive yourself insane, literally, if you are not pulling yourself out of that reality. Everyone around you is miserable as fuck. Don't Can't you look around you and look at in the eyes of an individual and see what the fuck is wrong with them? Like, don't you see the miserable, the negative? Like, people walk around and think that shit is normal. Like, we live in a world where people see negativity, see something bad happening. Oh, he's just going to get drunk. Oh, he's just having a good time. He's literally escaping his pain. He's literally distorting his own self to rid himself from some deep trauma within his psyche he never unfolded. Everyone's like, oh, he's gonna have fun. Oh, they're just drinking with friends, all having a good time. They're all escaping their reality. And it's either you create the reality that you want, or you live a life where you try to escape your reality, and then you find outputs. So you're finding external things to input that negative constraint, that withstraint, that internal hatred to deviate, to hide, to hide that true feeling of that true conjurance of just self-hatred. And that's what it is in essence. If you hate yourself, that's on you. If you love yourself, then you'll do what everyone's telling you not to do, because you know you have to do to get to where you want to go, because where everyone's telling you not to go is where they're not at, and you don't want to be where they're at, so you might as well not be where they're at, because where they're at is not where you're trying to go at all. So yeah, you might as well just trust yourself. You have to conquer your fear. You have to get rid of the people. Look, you have to understand that the mind is literally a quantum computer. So we have our phone, we have our computer. Your mind, in essence, could be related to a quantum computer. And your quantum computer is a reality creating machine. So when we look at all these people that are rich, really rich, have a lot of money, have everything you ever desired, and have experienced everything you want to experience, it's because these people are operating in a higher cognitions, in higher frequencies of being, of literally being. So these people are mastering their quantum computer, because you are the master and the servant. So you are both in one. And if you're not mastering your reality is mastering you. So if you're not mastering your software, then you're gonna be a bitch the rest of your life. And that's what it is. It's like people, when you understand that the mind is basically a quantum computer for creating a reality or destroying a reality, now you understand, because people destroy their realities passively or consciously, intensely. The drug dealer down the street or the drug addict down the street, that person is destroying their lives with their own intent. When you look at the person who's constantly feeding off of others' attention, constantly breaking down their own self with their mind, weaponizing their own mind against themselves because they're such in a low frequency, that person is destroying their own life. And you have to understand that over time, that shit just amplifies. It's like you never see someone who gets, like, there needs to be a shift or nothing happens. You just continue to grow in what you're feeding. And you can grow down into the dirt, or you can grow up into the sky. So it's up to you. But when you understand that people really are just like quantum computers, now you have to assess on if someone's adding or taking away from your thinking. So if someone's actively in a deductive, reductive, non-productive mindset, if someone's constantly trying to take away, inhibit, because of their fear, because of their own lack, because of their own mental deficits, because of their own lack of being, you don't want to listen to that person. And matter of fact, you want to actually kind of erase that person from your mind at all times. So that's a tip. If you have someone deducting, reducing, and subtracting from your own thinking, towards the destination you want to be at, then you have to nullify and abstract that person from your mind. So you have to nullify that person's existence within your own mind. And it sounds like something crazy, but as time will tell, you'll just adapt to your thinking, to your own process of individuation, to your own unfoldment. Everyone thinks different. That's another thing. Everyone has their own unique way of thinking. Everyone has their own beliefs. Like, you would be surprised on how unique thinking actually is. Like, from the moment you come out the wound to where you are right now in the present moment, that entire timeline, you've been thinking uniquely, completely different. Like, your fingerprint, how different your fingerprint is, that's how different your thinking is as well. And it's actually very, very interesting, because a lot of people think that everyone's so similar. Everyone thinks that they're thinking in the same way, because all you can do is project images of yourself, of your own mind, onto others. And so you can't really understand somebody, right? That takes a level of comprehension to understand. It depends what level you're thinking at. If you're thinking from a circle, it'll be a bit different. But that's it for today. Peace.